Are you rolling?
We're rolling now.
I am going to call to order the special meeting of the Darien Police Commission, 2,437th meeting. First order of business is acceptance of the minutes of June 2nd. There are only two of us. I will make a motion.
Second.
I assume all in favor?
In favor.
It's going to be quite easy. Correspondence, Chief.
I have a thank you letter here from Chief White, my compatriot at the Monroe Police Department, thanking the department for allowing Lieutenant Nick Aranzulo to sit on their police lieutenant promotional process, oral board. That was on June 8th. Clearly, I've said before to the commission that this does give us a benefit for our supervisors to sit on other oral boards for other departments, so we can kind of assess how our people stack up to us. I think it's a good thing that we do. We do it across the state, and when we need it, we sometimes get it in return. So we do get a benefit for having ranking officers sitting on promotional processes. See what's good, bad, and indifferent out there in the world of policing.
I agree.
As always, I think our folks stack up, and that's why we get a phone call on a regular basis looking for our command staff members to sit on promotional process of another Fairfield County and New Haven County agency. So well done for Nick. Appreciate him being able to do that. I have a second thank you note here from the co-chairs of the Henley Happening. Unfortunately for the Henley Happening, since almost every year it rains on their weekend, it's just, I feel bad for them, but you know.
No rain date either.
No rain date typically. We tried this year. We were going to try to change the date. We're going to try to move it up. So we were working with them as diligently as we could to get it a successful, weekend. So it says it was lovely to work together for a common cause, despite the letter and your generous support of our efforts to change the day. It all worked out, and this is what I like the best. Your officers could not have been more pleasant, and we really did end up with a rather wet yet successful day. The praise and congratulations we have been receiving couldn't have happened without you both. This came to Captain Marin and myself, but the credit goes to the officers that are working the job, especially in the rain. So
That'd be very nice.
I'm glad they got it done. Once again, we'll pray for no rain next year.
Okay, department activity. Captain.
Okay, this report will cover the time period from June 2nd to June 29th. On June 16th, a 44-year-old Rocky Hill man was arrested for car theft. On June 21st, a 31-year-old Stanford man was arrested for possession of narcotics, forgery, and motor vehicle charges. We had 3 catalytic converter thefts, but new to these incidents is that 2 of them were actually taken from residential driveways during the overnight.
And if I could jump in there real quick and just add that at least one of these, if not 2 of them, the residents heard noise but did not call the police later in the morning. So if you hear noise in your driveway that could potentially be catalytic converter thefts, please do not go out and confront anybody, but make a phone call to us. We'll come check it out. If it's a raccoon in your garbage can, we'll be very happy to just clear the scene and return patrol. But don't wait till the morning if it's something, a noise like that could conceivably be someone stealing catalytic converters.
I think there was a recent incident in Milford where a resident actually got attacked by somebody, and it was not a good thing. Should have called the police. To your point.
Significantly attacked and injured very, very seriously. So please call us if you hear suspicious noises in your driveway.
We had 6 domestic disturbances that we responded to, resulting in 2 arrests, 2 incidents involving mail theft and or check fraud. We had 5 reports. We had 1 attempted theft of a moped that was secured at the Norotan Heights train station, 1 burglary of a motor vehicle that was left unlocked, 2 DWI arrests, 2 commercial burglaries, 3 vandalism incidents, 5 incidents that involved either trespassing or breach of peace. Unfortunately, 2 structure fires and 2 vehicle fires. 7 incidents involving, I added this because it was a little unusual for this time period. 7 incidents involving emotionally disturbed individuals which required hospitalization. 3 incidents involving non-fatal overdoses, 2 of which involved officers administering Narcan due to heroin and or fentanyl usage. 70 traffic stops were conducted by the patrol division, resulting in infraction tickets and misdemeanor arrests where applicable. 95 false alarms, both residential and commercial. 18 motor vehicle accidents, 5 of which involved minor injuries, and surprisingly, the majority of those this time were on Route 124, which is Mansfield Avenue. And lastly, didn't make the cut here, but unfortunately we had an incident in which a Lyft driver that was taking a fare from Stamford to an undisclosed destination in Norwalk was attacked by the fare, and the suspect began stabbing the driver. And the driver made the choice to crash the car to end the attack, and the suspect fled after stealing the victim's cell phone. Unfortunately, we weren't able to locate the suspect after the incident. We used assistance from Stamford Police Department and their K-9 unit. And this occurred on the 27th at approximately 10:37 p.m. We're not releasing any other information on it at this point, but it's an active, very active investigation by the Darien Police Detective Division. And we ask that if anybody has any information that could assist in the investigation to contact the Darien Detective Division at 203-662-5330.
Very difficult to try to thwart. Certainly it happened inside a moving vehicle. And the only nexus to Darien was they happened to be a couple hundred feet over the Stamford line when the attack occurred. So there is no real identifiable threat to public safety in Darien. The car was coming from Stamford going to Norwalk, and it just occurred here. So I have full faith in our investigative unit that they will be able to successfully investigate this. Probably have some updates as we move forward.
And one last thing to add, because people were inquiring, the victim was treated at the scene and also transported to Norwalk Hospital, treated for non-life-threatening injuries, and expected to make full recovery.
So as you can see in our report, we have been fairly busy, right? We are not immune to the same things that are happening everywhere. And I know you don't want to probably hear me say it again, but 5 unlocked cars, 5 with the keys in them, we're almost batting 1,000 on these, despite our earnest pleas and our PSAs and everything else on getting folks to lock their cars. So we're going to continue as long as the pickings are good and cars are being left unlocked here.
Public comment? Going to go with no. Old business, building issues update.
Women's locker room, the pipe was fixed. We still see some issues in communications with the heat regulation. Most recently, this past weekend, we had some issues in there, so Dave Sabini sent somebody down to check it out. And we had a boiler issue this morning. Looks like a faulty something or other down there.
Carbon monoxide detector.
Yeah, so someone's coming tomorrow to check on that.
TV's on.
On the HVAC
Feels
front.
nice right now.
Yes. on the HVAC front, 50 years from now, people will be looking at our minutes for our meetings, and they're going to say, wait a minute, this was 2012, now this one is 2022, and they're still talking about the same issue. As of late, I must give a little bit of credit to our vendor and the DPW folks. They are here on a regular basis. Somebody even made the quip that they thought, Automated Logic just abandoned their van in our parking lot because it's here every day. It does disappear and come back, but they are. The guy was running some kind of new wires yesterday. They are still working through it.
Well, at least they're still showing up.
And I think this is just all byproduct and an artifact of a design and an installation issue from back a decade. I thought we would be done talking about it in 2022. Unfortunately, we're not quite there yet, but
2023.
hopefully someday
gonna be our year.
we cross the finish line.
Okay. Any other old business?
Not for me.
New business. Favorite topic, traffic, signs on Brookside, finalizing the quantity and cost.
So, John from DPW and I drove up and down Brookside, and if we were going by line of sight, traffic poles, it would be like 13 on each side, going north and south. Seems to be a lot of signage there, so we were thinking maybe 6 on each side would work. I don't have the exact cost. I put a question into where we ordered it from, and just waiting for the quote. As long as we get a number that we're okay with, I'll put the order in.
Yeah, I mean, that's a number from your perspective, I'm good with it.
Yeah, and if we decide, I'm sure can deploy them somewhere else if we end up, I mean, we obviously, let's try the minimum, see if it moves the needle, so that we're not over-signing everything, and I'll go from there. Sounds good?
Do we want to make a motion just to approve the up to 12?
Is that- all right, I make a motion that we approve up to 12 of the, what is it? Walk left, bike right, stay safe signs to be deployed up and down Brookside Road.
Try safe, I don't remember the exact verbiage. We'll make it the same as the other one.
That's it, yeah. So, I second.
Okay, there's no other discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great Island acquisition is me. This is going to be kind of short and sweet because we don't have a lot to talk about, but I did want to go as the chair of the Legal Traffic Authority, LTA, and obviously with Brent and Kevin. We've been getting a lot of questions about what our role is in traffic, so I just want to make a couple of remarks, and then obviously when the official formal proposals come, it will get a full airing. But if and when the town closes on Great Island, clearly traffic impacts management is going to weigh significantly on any proposed public uses for the property. I want to assure people that the LTA, again, Legal Traffic Authority, is well aware of the issues in the area as it relates to traffic, not lost on us. But we obviously don't weigh in with an actual vote until a formal proposal is in front of us. But enough of people have inquired that I had the chief kind of weigh in with and share some of his initial thoughts. I would have him make them, but he wrote them, sent them to us, and I thought they were excellent. So if you don't mind, I'm going to read what your comments were if you want to elaborate. I know he's sitting right here, but I'd like to... should the town acquire Great Island from both the overarching public safety and legal traffic authority perspectives, proper planning, engineering, and traffic management concerns must be at the absolute forefront of any prospective considerations. The public roadways in this area predate internal combustion, as do the roads on Great Island itself. The area is very well traveled by bicycles and pedestrians in addition to automobiles on most days throughout the year. The simple truth is that significantly enhancing any of the public roads in the immediate area from a state safety standpoint is virtually impossible based on land ownership rights and the geometric, topographic features of the existing roadway system. There is but one way in and out of Great Island. There are but two ways in and out of the area on the approach or departure to and from Great Island. Collectively, we must all keep this at the front of mind in the years ahead, should the town be successful in acquiring this parcel to maintain in the public trust for generations to come. I'm not sure we need to elaborate on that. It's just clearly we are all cognizant of the area and the traffic implications. Again, as of today, there is nothing specific for us to weigh in on. I contacted the first selectman, and I don't believe the town has undergone any preliminary analysis, but we've had no discussions, and I think besides my visit to the first selectman this morning, the LTA has not been contacted by any commission or board or elected officials, so no discussions with us behind the scenes. Most of what we do is here in public sessions, so in the process of their due diligence, we have not had any kind of off meetings that would not have been publicized. Having said that, we are always happy to answer any questions people might have. We will stay on top of it, answer any questions as they arise. Obviously, when the time comes, do our usual thorough analysis of anything that comes before us. But that is what I had to say on kind of Great Island, because there's not much else to say since I already quoted you. Anyone, did I cover it pretty well enough? Again, if people have questions or comments, I encourage people to reach out to us. But right now, it's not really in our bailiwick. It's not there yet. I think it's probably coming. All right, traffic. Darien Road Race, September 18th, 2022.
Last but not least, right?
That's pretty quick, though.
So that one's mine. I met with coordinators of the Darien Road Race, including Jan Siddell, last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. I asked her to be present tonight just in case the commission had any additional questions, but there's no real changes for this year. This is one of the events that's on our annual list that we typically approve. In our pre-race meeting, or at least the first, we kind of discussed any potential changes. I explained my concerns, which were very few and relatively insignificant from previous races, specifically last year. We've gone over that. I think we're all on the same page, and they were advised that one of the first steps is to get your approval to close the road. It's going to be the same route. They're also having the fun run that will take place before the main race. I worked this event last year, and there were very little problems. Their problems ranged from cars still trying to arrive with race participants after the race had already started, but we kind of squeezed them in as safe as we can. I don't think we had any injuries last year. Nothing of real note that we were looking at changing, other than I think a course got changed a tiny little bit right before the race started, and we made it clear that we need to be on the same page with that well in advance of the start of the race and in the days leading up to the race. Last year there were 353 participants, is what you, I think, told us. And this year I don't think it's capped. You tell us that it's not capped, but I would expect, probably around the same amount.
Hoping more, actually, but.
You're hoping for more?
Yeah.
Okay. So typically we will put signage out, traffic advisories. We use some barricades and cones. They have hired up to 3 officers to assist in the event. And different this year, we will not have Officer Isaac, who would normally lead the race on the motorcycle, so we may need to borrow some assistance from
Somebody's big wheel.
patrol. Yeah.
Are the number of attendees consistent each year, more or less?
They only kept track, they didn't keep track all years, but there's one, I guess it was 650 in 2015. There wasn't one in COVID, so it's sort of like between 400, 350 to 500, so it hasn't been huge. It used to be bigger years ago, but they didn't keep track of
There's room for you.
What's that?
There's room for you if you want to do it.
Yeah.
There's definitely
You
room.
put me on the spot, all right.
Are they allowed to register day of, or is it all online ahead of time?
I think the intention is for it to be all ahead of time to make sure that we can get the signs, the pickups and everything like they did last year, because so it's not
Okay.
an issue.
One of the problems that I witnessed myself last year was there was actually people trying to launch their boats on the boat ramp at Pear Tree Beach when the race was, finishers were trying to finish. And racers were literally running around a car backing up a trailer, so I asked that they make contact with the boat club and reach out to their membership, and that'll be prohibited during the race time, yeah. But I don't envision any complications. I think it sounds like they're getting their ducks in a row for this event this year.
All good with me.
So we may want to put out some kind of further advisory of the boat launch ramp, because most likely that's not boat club members putting their boats in.
Potentially, yeah.
It's
Well, it's
people
in
that are-
September, so
that are-
it's either probably,
They're trailering, right?
it seems unlucky that someone would be launching September 18th.
Unless it's a beautiful day and they just.
It was there were smaller boats, so I don't think there were boats that were, right, so they probably weren't members.
Yeah.
At least an advisory that we have a race going on here.
Yes.
If they can help us out, we'd appreciate it.
No issue here, so we need a motion to approve the Darien Road Race. I make a motion to approve the Darien Road Race, September 18th, 2022.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Well, it might not be our quickest meeting, but that's all we got. And it's a special meeting, we cannot add to the agenda, so we do have to schedule another meeting. We have our magic calendars.
I have, and it's in everybody's folder.
Yes, it is.
I guess I don't have to.
All right, well, we're already here on the 30th, so I think the 7th is probably not. The 21st?
21st, I will be on a hopefully well-deserved vacation with my feet at the lake in the cabin. So you can certainly have a meeting
How about the,
Your cell phone works at the cabin?
if spotty.
Not that day.
I know I will jinx us. Do we anticipate that we would need a meeting sooner rather than later, so we should try for the 14th? Or should we push it off until some later date?
I'm not anticipating anything of super
I mean,
import coming
clearly,
down the
we had a
pipe
very
here.
short agenda today.
The only thing, if we pushed it to the 28th, is Officer Jarvis will be graduating from the police academy, depending on what time that is. The chief typically attends that.
Yes, he should.
I have no idea what time that would be at this point.
That's on the 28th.
On the 28th. It could be during the
I'm
day.
probably away on the
I
4th.
don't know last year.
Probably in the morning, I presume, right?
1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want to go more than 4 weeks, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Summer, I don't know.
I'm gonna say the 20th.
Chief's on vacation on the 21st.
Oh, 21st, you're on vacation.
Yeah,
so-
28th year
14th I could
graduation.
do, the 20, I could maybe do the 28th, depending on what time they set the graduation.
Where's graduation?
Meriden.
You could be in traffic until 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
Trying to
I
get
don't-
back.
Can we try, maybe we can try to find out what time that
So
graduation
evening,
would be?
isn't it?
Oh, it's evening?
I think they are.
Would you say evening?
Evening.
I thought they were in the evening.
Better or worse?
If it's
I know we
like,
haven't done this before, but happy to do the meeting earlier in the day as well.
Yes, that's
In
true.
the morning, 10 o'clock or
we
8
could
o'clock.
certainly, we could
Yes.
certainly do that. We could go to the 28th, and we could pick
All
the
right,
time.
let's,
as we-
let's think about the 28th and work on the time, find out what time graduation is, and then move us around.
We'll touch base with Kevin too, right?
Yes.
So, schedule.
Okay, with that, we're done.
Done.